start the show. The Good Life with DT and Spicoli. Welcome to the Good Life.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. Good Life. These boys are crazy.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. What?
Yo, DT, what's poppin'?
What's poppin'? We got us another funny man on today, man. I'm stoked. Me and you are big fans of comedy.
Yeah, bring on the comedy. We need all the laughs. I mean, life's been hard, so bring on the laughs. We could use a few. At least from this guy right here. I know he's no stranger to the comedy scene. He's been busting his butt for a long time,
Yes.
and he's just crushing audiences. He's leaving his mark. He is Mr. Joy on Purpose, Ben Webb.
What up, Ben?
Hey, what's up, DT and Jason? Good to see you guys. Yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this.
Hey,
Yeah.
you are our first podcast guest who has ever called him by his first name. So
Had to sneak that in, see if I can get away with it. We'll see. Spicoli, the formal.
Ben-
Yes.
Ben's in here like, I'm asserting my dominance up front. I'm calling them on first name basis, man.
Right? That was the first time I've heard Jason in years. Even my wife calls me Spicoli. She's like, what? I don't even call you Jason anymore. Now Ben is coming in hot with Jason.
Yeah, that's my younger brother's name. So I was like, let's see if I can get away with it.
There you go, man. Ben, I gotta be so. Spicoli obviously has told me about you, but I knew about you before that. I think we were supposed to do a show together a while ago. I haven't been on stage in a long time, man, but I think somebody booked a show and I think we were supposed to be on it, but it got canceled or something. But so I've been following you for a while, man, but I really like how positive you are with your stand-up comedy stuff. Like, I think it's way easier just to like a comedian like Nate Bargatze or someone like that. That's just a clean comic, you know what I mean? And just a nice guy up front, man. So I got to give you kudos on that. That's a different approach to comedy and you're killing it, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and I kind of remember a little bit about that and nature of comedy, nature of life. Things can kind of change, circumstances come up, tornadoes come through, is what it is. But yeah, it's great to be able to reconnect, to stay connected through it, and to be able to be a part of the comedy scene. It's a different animal. I have always wanted to find out the answer to the question, can I be funny? Also, can I get up on stage and people want me to do more on there? And I figured, hey, what the hell? After my separation and divorce, I went up there, took the risks, found my answers, and 6 years later, I am going hard at it. It is fantastic.
So do you think, I've always thought this, and I've talked to other comedians about it. Do you think the dark stuff is what makes you funny? Like the darker periods in your life is what brought out the comedy?
When you go through things that you didn't think you would survive, and you did, because those around you who loved you reached out and helped, showed you that love, and you had to dig down deeper within yourself to find something worth living for. And you didn't realize what was down there until you were pressed hard enough to look, and you realized something that was large enough to crush you didn't, but in fact fueled you for the future. Not only does it make you, for lack of a better term, like care less a little bit about like you want to take more risks, but it also makes you look at people around you differently. I notice those that are like you ask them how they're doing and they're really quick with a fine and their eyes go down real quick, or the body language is a little bit slumped and all that. You notice the people around you hurting more when you have been through the darkness, survived, and are fighting for the light every single day. So I think there's something to that clowns have some kind of dark cloud they're living with or that they've walked through, and they will never see life the same way again. And I think Robin Williams was one that said, comedians do what they do to help other people never feel what they have felt. That's something that sparks us on, and I think I resonate a lot with that.
Yeah, I love that quote, man. Yeah, that's Robin Williams. I love that one.
Yeah, and Ben, you're very vulnerable and you're very open with sharing your story and what you've gone through. Do you feel like that's really helped you connect with so many people in such a short amount of time?
I think so. There's a lot of opportunities for engagement on social media and to be able to reach people, and I'm sure you guys can relate to it, Spicoli in particular. There's a lot more people who read your stuff and see your stuff than engage with it. And it's those kinds of people that sometimes will reach out to you privately through messages or in person and say, I finally have an opportunity to be able to say this. Thank you for posting that thing that you did or sharing what you did. And so that I don't necessarily I don't necessarily post to get those sympathy things or the clickbait type stuff, but to be genuinely myself and to connect with another human being going through God knows what they're going through, and to have that connection of thank you, it encourages me to keep doing it, and I like to think so because there's quite a few performers in Omaha and social media, it's not always wise to put all that you're going through on there. And I understand that. I choose to put a little bit more than most on there because I want to be seen and supported and loved as a performer. Buy my tickets, go to the shows. You will not regret it. I put everything on the stage. You will not regret going to see a show where I'm at. However, I do not want to do that at the expense of my humanity. We can elevate performers and almost worship them and high five and all that sort of stuff and kind of forget, if we let ourselves, they're human beings that laugh, cry, worry, doubt, go through medical stuff, all that sort of thing. Just because they don't talk about it doesn't mean they don't go through it. So I want to show my performer and humanity at the same time if I can. If that's wise or unwise, so be it. I'm going to do it. And I think and I hope it's connecting. So
I would say one thing that I recall very vividly about you, and this has never happened to me before, like you actually called me and you left a voicemail talking about how you had just lost your job and you didn't want anything, but you wanted me to pray for you. Like that, I mean, that I was so surprised by that. Like I was like, how can I help? What can I do? And you just wanted me to pray for you. And I was so surprised that like how brave that takes, and how much courage that takes for somebody to do that, like especially after you just lost your job. Like I felt like right away like I wanted to help, and if there was anything that I could do for you. And I mean, and you bounced back. Like it took a little while, but you bounced back.
yeah, I remember that time. And truth be told, that took me days to work up the courage to do that because in my mind, I've been listening to you for years. You've been watching or supporting somebody for years or whatnot. In our mind, we can elevate and separate, sometimes at the expense of humanity, of he is not going to give a damn. What am I thinking of? Even sending a text message or whatever that may be, but I'm going through some stuff. We have kind of connected a little bit there. What is the harm in me reaching out as a human being and asking that? Because he can say no, he can ignore it, and you have every right to. You got a busy life and all that, but I wanted to take that risk because you're one of those that have, for one reason or another, have noticed me and have reached out in a few messages, and we've had some good back and forths. And I noticed that you don't sacrifice your humanity and your flaws or the things that you go through. You share that for comedic effect or some real stuff. And I wanted to reciprocate that, so that took a little bit to build up. And what I hoped I would hear and what I hoped I would connect with, of even like a simple sure, I'd be happy to. And you did that and a little bit more. That speaks volumes to me about who you are. And getting to know David just a little bit more, a little bit less than you. It seems like you two are of a similar kind of vein of humanity, of what you try to be as men and as human beings to others. So I appreciate the hell out of that. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. And DT, like, this is why I teamed up with David Taylor, is because he's also somebody who's kind, comparing, and will, compassionate, and will go to bat. Like, if you're friends with DT, he's somebody that will go to bat for you. And that's just the kind of person I surround myself with. And that's the kind of people that I enjoy, like somebody who's willing to like help out in tough times. And, we all know life. Tough times happen, and it's who you're surrounded with, and asking for help, and not being afraid to ask for, a prayer or like a couple dollars or whatever they need. Like, that's the kind of guy DT is as well. So it was just a natural fit for both of us.
Yeah, this is man. Well, I was expecting to come laughing, man. You guys are turning this into Dr. Phil. Man, what are you guys doing to me over here? I'm speechless, man. That's really cool, man. I didn't really know all that about what you two would go through. That's super cool, man, honestly. Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of speechless over here. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, this is one of the reasons why, like, I've always believed in Ben Webb. Like, he's just he's an open book. He's also very funny. He's done a lot of things for the comedy community. He's also an actor. I just saw that he was playing like the villain. Kind of walk us through that. Like, you were the villain for this play. Tell us about it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. We just wrapped yesterday, so I am dog tired today. But we wrapped on the 59th annual melodrama up in Florence. So next year will be number 60. And to be trusted with this is my third melodrama in a row with them, my 8th production with them overall. First time, if you know anything about melodrama, are you guys familiar?
A little bit.
Somewhat, yeah. Dive into it for us, yeah.
Okay, simply a melodrama is, you think of, human emotions. Sometimes we'll feel angry at a 2 out of 10 or 5 out of 10, depending on the sports team we're watching. But melodrama, you dial that sucker up to 9 or 10. So if they're a coward, they are just a yellow belly, cowering, all of that, and they show that to the crowd, and the crowd is encouraged. The hero gets cheered every time they come on stage. The villain gets booed and hissed every time they come on stage. The heroine gets the aw, that kind of support. And they've got a love story usually. There's a double cross. There's all sorts of stuff. So you have that prompting with the audience. And you get a room full of people, 100, 150 people there. They've got some drinks, got some food in their belly. And the moment you're coming up on stage and you hear your music and when you not only hear the boos, but you feel them, it was a good day at the office. So this was my first time being trusted to do that, because if I didn't do my job, they're not going to cheer the hero as much. They're not going to get behind the heroine as much. And thankfully, I got into it hard enough that their reactions were over the top awesome. So I'm very satisfied with doing that. Tired, but satisfied.
Ben, do you think so? I think it was Cat Williams on that Shannon Sharp thing, and he was talking about, how if a comedian says they don't end up want to be an actor, they're lying. It's like one of those things. Is that kind of like your big end game goal? Like, you want to be an actor?
That's a good question. For me, honestly, that one question that I really wanted an answer to, can I be funny? In my mind, stand-up comedy is the most satisfying of the art forms that I do. I do 4, stand-up, improv, theater acting, and roast battling. Stand-up is just a different beast. So but I love it. The more I'm doing acting, I'm finding more skills and more of a family where I go and where I create to. I'm not sure where that can go, but I'm really glad I'm working on these skills now, because theater, the experience, that informs the improv, that informs stand-up, vice versa. It informs the others, and hopefully makes it all better. So I think, hey, if Cat Williams came calling, or there was a Kevin Hart, I could be an extra in something like that, or whatever it is, start cutting my teeth there and making some coin like that. I'm not going to turn that down. I'm not going to be a dummy. I know that there could be some wisdom in that, and I have a fairly good grasp of what I am capable of now. And I'm a big dude. I'm working on being less of a big guy. I'm about 6'3", 6'4", 380 at the point. I'm working on the 380. It's getting slimmer. but I've got energy of a smaller guy. I move around and all that. And my facial expressions, like my villain face, for those that see the video, this is what I was able to do most of the play. You got to hold that face, And every night I had to massage my jaw because it was so sore from holding that. But I've got a good command of what I can do, and I'm not going to say no if the opportunity provides itself. You know what I'm saying?
Ben, it's always a pleasure catching up with you. I cannot wait to see you in person at our 1-year anniversary bash on July 27th at Maloney's. What can we expect?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm excited. The energy that you guys have with your shows and the podcast, it's something you want to be around. So I'm looking forward to bringing, I like to do a style called clean but not safe comedy. So I like to be able to have you engaged, but I don't want you to predict where I'm going. So I love writing punchlines and jokes that include a lot of folks and have a lot of fun and good energy, stuff that everybody can enjoy. So wherever that I can fit and contribute to the show, I am looking forward to it big time. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. We are too, man. That's it was actually Spicoli's thing. We usually just have bands. He's like, let's get some comedians, and he immediately said Ben Webb, and I was like, I'm down, dude. I was like, I'm definitely down to have Ben on it. So yeah, man, we're stoked to have you.
Nice. I love it, man. I love the love, and it's genuine. And people want to be around people that are genuine, and just to have a good time together. The release of laughter and cheering, good music, good jokes, all of it. It's good for the soul,
100%. Ben Webb, thank you so much, man. We'll see you July 27th at Maloney's for the 1-year anniversary show.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for having me on, DT and Spicoli. Almost said Jason. Don't forget.
Until the midnight hour.